remember Harry Townsend did some studies, and he found out that this is one of the earliest barns where they had the second story. They dropped the hay down, and the animals were below.
Right.
It's looking like a walkout basement, I guess. Here. You can come in on this side, and then you can come here. You come around with your wagon on the second floor.
Is this
the dump your hay in the second floor, and then push it, just drop it down, so it like save labor. You don't have to haul it up.
Is this the Higginbotham town? I mean, the town. Their actual property.
Yes. Okay. This was the barn. It's pretty good size.
Because they mention it in the book, the barn.
Yes.
The kids had to do the chores, check on the oxen at the barn right before church, and then get their clothes dirty.
Yes.
So this is the these trees.
There was an October weekend hiking tour here many years ago. It could be 12 years ago. And Donna Dufresne led it. She's a teacher in the Woodstock area. I'll show you the main house. So this is the yard where it's pretty cool. And then have to be over there. This would have been the garden. This is the animals. See this is a little deeper? See the fences are a little higher here?
Yeah, it's for the animals.
It's the main house to be. Well, I'll show you the main house, and then when we walk down here later, this is where the mill was.
Right. In the water, yeah. Power the lathe. Is there remnants of the mill left over?
No. This is site, and some interesting areas where the water was diverted to get more water flow. Here.
Oh my goodness, it's a wicked old tree.
Really tiny.
Yeah, they had so many kids too.
I know. They're a little loft.
Hoping the
girls have to walk the boys in the kitchen. This would have been 2 rooms with sharing a fireplace. And then this was all built later. I recall how Donna told the story. These hitching posts. Well-built basement. In the summer, they just throw the rocks together.
Considering the time period, I mean, there's one in Brimfield, which is from the 50s, and it's, I mean, it's in...
You have the Higginbotham book, right?
Yeah.
Have a copy?
Yeah, right. It's like 17...
It starts in the 1700s, but that isn't when they lived here. This is much later. This is the 1800s. What do you think? Probably 1820s, 30s, because the son had this house. The original house, I'll show you, was across the brook, the mother's house. This was a later date. She died in 1850.
Right.
But she has lived 100 years.
Yeah.
So this could have...
Was this the more expensive house that they bought for like, it was like for $150 that they were talking about that they had bought?
I've forgotten
the
price, but Donna had this little story about how they would have had an outhouse. If the road came there, they would have had it right in the front to show it off. It was like indoor plumbing. Most people didn't have an outhouse. They just, they had a bucket and they threw it out the window.
Yeah.
And so that would have been something to show off if you had an outhouse. And then later years it became something to hide.
Yeah, I imagine.
This is a grinding stone over here. Or the remnants of something that had been a grinding stone.
They didn't bury anyone next to the property? I'm surprised.
No, it's a cemetery further up. Okay, there was something over here she showed. It was a sheep counter. There were a lot of sheep.
Over there, maybe?
Okay, here it is. Here it is, right there.
Oh, right there.
My son was a little kid and she had him crawl through one of those. To demonstrate. They would keep them all on one side. There was no way to count how many sheep they had unless they would do it that way. They would pull up something and then let them through one by a time.
Wow. So I'd look at that and think that was just a gap, a stone fall out or something. Without any context, you can...
Well, walk down the steps over here. I mentioned the steps. The young girl was sewing and she lost her thimble.
Yeah.
And
that was
this is all based on what really happened. The author found the thimble in a certain spot and incorporated it in the story.
Well, that's a question.
The thimble, what?
That's the question I had when I was reading the book. How much of it was done for dramatic purposes and how much is actual fact?
Oh yeah,
because there's
have to have her over for dinner and have you there, and you can ask her. These are steps. There's somewhere in here where there was like a stone staircase down. There it is. You found it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where the girl was sitting, and she was sewing her brother's pants. Right over here, and it's down. She found the thimble here. That was real. If it's based on some physical thing like that, then it's real. But
yeah,
the time travel thing had to be made up. And
I wonder if she put her sources in here. I should check the book. She must have found a diary or something.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I was going through it last night because I hadn't read it, and well, I got a shot of it.
You want me to carry it for you?
Oh, I'm fine. You're carrying the most important thing,
okay.
so we don't die out here.
Oh, I'm not gonna get lost.
I come from a family of people who got lost.
Really?
My dad had no sense of direction.
Oh, that's Wald's mom was like that because she was forced to use her right hand when she's left-handed. And it messed when she was a little kid, and they just made her do it the right way, or what they thought was right, and it messed her up her brain.
So did you know why the village died? Why?
I don't... They like to use the word village, but that's not really accurate. It's a family.
Well, there were two families, right?
Okay, well,
Well,
the
the
Randalls were
Randalls.
separate. They weren't part of the village, except for in the cemetery.
Even up the, I mean, they had the house, the large house up there, and George was the one that took over after the judge died. I don't know if you remember. I was going through it last night. That's only why I remember.
All the details. Well, the village out in the woods really doesn't. It's not about the Randalls. They had to walk a long way to work for them.
Right. Okay. I see what you mean.
Except for at the cemetery, and they always had a question: why were they at the same cemetery? They were good friends, but it was like a servant type relationship. Really, they had been servants for them in Rhode Island. Do you remember the Rhode Island connection? And they came.
Yeah, the mother had been a servant, and the father had deserted.
Right, and then they followed the family as they settled here. It's hard with the leaves in here to really read all the bones. Yeah, the bone structure. Bones. Try to find this is where we were before.
Yep.
And there's a trail that comes down the hill. And the daughter always looks for her father down here. And it's a little harder to read the trail now with all the leaves and debris falling. Okay, here it is. It goes down this way.
Okay.
You get pretty slippery. So Donna slipped and she was giving us the tour that time down by the wet rocks.
Yeah, the book is pretty sad because as it ends, it's about people who have almost literally been erased from time.
Yeah.
You know, none married, no children.
Yes.
And
But I guess a lot of people were like that.
yeah.
She made up all the things about hypothetical reasons why. Like the boyfriend dying or the fiance or that part, you know, seems a little made up to me. She had no idea why this woman hadn't married, so she came up with all these things. Well, she had a limp. She, because she had some illness when she was sick. I think that part's made up. And the part about the boyfriend dying. Sailor, wasn't he?
Was he a sailor?
That last ship, he was going to come back and they were going to settle down.
Oh,
He was
yes.
going to be a farmer. He knew nothing about farming.
Yeah.
That part was just like to fill in the gaps. Well, why was she a spinster? Wasn't there another story that she liked some person in school but he married somebody else?
Is that George? I know she did like George. I thought he was handsome.
Probably was. get all this detail, but I have to read it. I read it every few years. Okay, this was the spot. This wasn't here before. There's a little campfire down here. Right over there, that's the spot.
Across the street, yeah.
You have to cross this anyway to get to the original foundation.
Okay.
The older house. And the other one could have been around from like 1790s or 1800s. It's amazing that the foundation's still pretty intact. This is well made, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Stream has died.
Yeah.
Can't imagine this would be enough to power a
you can't
mill.
imagine with spring, I guess, in a good year for water. This is a little bit dammed up, so there's more water here than it maybe was in the past.
That has to be recent.
Yeah, this wasn't here. Well, sometimes Donna brings children, school groups here. She would have been demonstrating something like that.
Keystone?
It
has some significance.
Yeah. The fireplace, the one that holds everything together.
Yes. Usually people leave signs behind that they were there. Well, sometimes it's bad. You know, you deface property. And
yes, yeah. There's some, I can show you that up near the house. Someone did put some carvings in the rocks. Yeah. Well, there's some areas that look like a trough, like someone scoured out the ground. It's kind of hard to see with all the leaves. Yeah. But to add more water to power the mill, during the drier periods.
Yeah.
And I followed some of them. You can't really see with all these leaves here over the years, but it was more clear. This to me seems all man-made and diverted, and you can see where it brought the water to another place.
I wonder what. I think they dammed up water in case the river got low, and then they would...
I think so. I think to catch more... Well, you read about what they did in other places, and you can kind of guess.
Yeah.
Donna didn't take us up to this, but she told us where it was, and then on another occasion, I came here and found it. And the town has hired some archaeologists to work on this site. And they had they'd been digging up there at one point. And they found different clays and different time periods. One's more reddish, one's lighter. I can't remember, but she showed us little pieces of it at our house, and she told us, see where it is.
Okay. Get up to the top. Across the tree.
Yeah.
Wow, it's pretty solid.
But you can see how this was all cleared out? That these were fields here?
Yeah, yeah. This is where they grew their crops?
All of this land, hundreds of acres, yes. There were just like a few, the really large, this pine tree would have been original.
Yeah.
There's just a few trees near the houses sometimes for shade.
Yeah.
And I'll look again. You can walk on, you can really see the bones of the land. Really pretty back here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so all of this, everything you see, is wasn't part of the land. Okay, there's a hitching post, and we're coming close. It would be pretty hard to cultivate that, and all those rocks, that hillside.
I see what you mean. That's pretty, it's pretty flat relative to where we've been. This would be the place.
Well, let's look around so we don't fall in. Okay, there it is, right over there.
Was that close? Hey.
Maybe the older one. Isn't it amazing it's just intact?
Yeah.
This was the tiny one.
It seems only slightly smaller. The other one is
The other one had the L off of it, the kitchen extension.
Oh, that's true, yep.
So it would have been bigger in those days, but this is a central fireplace at the other, okay, but what's going on over here? It's so tiny on this side. What were you warming? Unless it extended back. Maybe.
Good question. I don't know.
Oh, there's a well over here. This is a well. Yeah, there's a well right here.
Oh, that's the well?
I had to, so when you put this, like capping it off.
Oh, absolutely. So my first impression that would be stairs up, but no, that's definitely a well.
It's not far from the house. I need to go far to get water. You can see if the house, I'm trying to think it went further back that way, if that fireplace warmed the room. I suppose this could be the part of the basement. There might be an extension. There might have been something off the back.
Yeah.
But this was the mom's house. Mom had this when she was a widow and gave the other one to the son. I guess they had this first. Then they rented this one out for income. So maybe the village was these two houses, really, and the barn and the mill. Okay, so she rented this out when she was raising all her children at the other house. Then when Darius, the oldest son, no, not the one that ran off. But
is that Darius who ran off?
No, it was some other guy we never saw again. Was he going in the military, or they never heard from him again. So Darius was considered like the son who inherited all the property, and he became a farmer. So when he married, he was given the house. That was the family house down there, and then the mother, and she was widowed, moved back up here, the old house.
Right. And that son's name took off.
Darius, I can't remember. Obadiah was a father.
No, Darius isn't the one. He disappears early in the story.
Yeah, it's a really odd name. And they used it a lot. Was it the same name as the son-in-law would have had?
Darius, Phoebe, Axa, Ziba. I think all the girls spinstered, right?
A lot of them died young.
Yeah.
Remember the
baby,
little Phoebe, the sweet girl? She was like 8 years old. Yeah, I'm not sure if some of the younger ones lived, but no.
Okay, here's the last you saw of her brother.
Alicia. They use the name twice in the book.
Yeah, maybe another child or something. Yeah, he just disappears.
Yep.
Huh?
So he didn't want a farm. He didn't inherit the farm. The next son did.
That is so odd. He just vanishes. How could you leave your family
Well, I
behind?
could see that because the father's personality. You either really got along with him, like Obadiah, or you really hated him if you were the oldest son. And he's stubborn. You see that a lot, father and son things. They either really get along, or they, if they have a strong personality, the father is like, "This is the way it has to be done," and doesn't really.
But to forsake the entire family, brothers, sisters, and mother, you don't get along with any of them. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe there was some kind of contact. Wow, that's amazing. So they just stumbled upon this? They bought the land and then...
Let me see. They bought, in the 1960s, the Townsends went in a partnership with one of his business partners. And they had it for years until the partner died, and then the widow sold their share. So it's like, I don't know, he's like thousands of acres in Pomfret. And it was for hunting, really, and just to preserve it. And I guess, she found, then the wife is very interested in local history, and she's the one who came out, she saw the cemetery and got interested. We'll have to see that cemetery. And that's what spurred her on to research everything. And they have so much money that they could do, if this was an interest of hers, okay, we'll hire some archaeologists and dig up and this and that. And she just, researched the land records. She said 20 years before she could write the book. She went over to Wales. She got all these records. And, when people died, they listed every single thing that they owned. And still, I don't know if she had to go to Hartford, maybe, to, the archival library.
Yeah. There must have been land deeds as well, I mean.
Oh, yeah, yes.
That's
all the dates and right. When it transferred, when a piece of this land transferred to the daughter, and the mother, it was very unusual. It used to always just go to the sons. That's what Donna was telling us in that talk, how this is how unusual a woman to own property at this time period.
Yeah.
Early 1800s.